More commonly in the back, it's sore to bend forward or to bend back than it is to be sore when you're rotating. So what I want to try to show you now is a novel exercise to help improve range of motion in the forward or the back direction. So just like the other two exercises, we want a before and after comparison to see if we're making any change with the exercise. So I'm going to bend forward as far as I can. And I'm going to remember how far down my thighs or how far down my shins my fingertips get before I can no longer continue. Likewise, if I were sore in the backwards direction, I would arch back and try to remember how far back I can get. That one's a little bit harder to measure in how far back you can arch, but you can remember what it feels like so that you've got some kind of comparison before and after. Then I'm going to get onto my hands and knees to perform the exercise. Doing this on a soft surface rather than a tile floor would probably be beneficial. What I want to try for the novel movement this time is flexing my back from this gravity eliminated position. I'm going to think about what direction my tailbone's pointing as I move. So as I go into flexion, or bending forward, I'm going to point my tailbone down at the floor. As I come into extension, or arching back, I'm going to point my tailbone up at the ceiling. And I'm going to rotate between those two positions about 10 times each way. I'm going to move slowly and controlled, leaving my hands and my knees fixated. Once I've completed that 10 times, I'm going to retest the movements that were sore before, or that were limited before. So bending forward and sliding my hands down my shins, I see how far down my shins I can get my fingertips. In the arching back direction, I'm going to remember what it feels like and how far I can move in the backwards direction. Again, I don't have a symptomatic back. My back feels okay, so I'm going to experience some modest improvements in that range of motion. Hopefully, somebody that's a little bit sore or protected against one of those particular movements will experience a larger change in range of motion from before to after performing the exercise. There's a number of reasons that this exercise can be successful in improving your range of motion, but again, I think it's important that it's a novel movement, something that we don't do all the time, and we've changed things in a couple of ways in comparison to when we're standing. One, gravity is now running perpendicular to our back, downwards, so we've kind of eliminated it from the movement. And two, our hips and our knees are in a bent or flexed position. And that puts a lot of the tissues that cross the hips and go towards the back, or come from the back, that puts them in a little bit more relaxed position. So those two ways, it makes it a novel movement, and often allows you to do a little bit more movement than you would be able to do in the standing position. So don't take my word for it, try it yourself, compare before and after, and see if that movement helps relieve your back discomfort.